Welcome back to our final day here in Barossa. Today we're keeping things nice and chilled as we're heading back into Tanunda to check out all the shops and cafes, making our way up to an amazing viewpoint and then heading back to a winery to pick up a bottle of my favourite wine from yesterday. And at the end I'll break down exactly how much everything costs and share our favourite moments from the weekend. So let's get into it. We're starting off the day by heading back to Chateau Dorrien, where I found my favourite wine that I've ever had. So we had to go and buy a bottle. It's called the Lake Harvest Frontenac, so $25 down the drain, but that will be definitely enjoyed. So now we'll be heading over to our next stop, which is the Lookout. Our second stop is at the incredible Mengler's Hill Lookout, where you get views over everything that you have done for the weekend. So let me show you. So we started off over there in Seppeltsfield, and then we headed over yesterday to Angaston, which is literally just behind of those trees. Adelaide is actually that way, so it's 56 kilometres, and that's where we'll be driving a bit later on. And then Tanunda, where we'll be going in just a moment, is just down there. So it's great to come here on the last day and just see everything which you have done over the weekend. What they've also got in behind me just down here is the sculpture park, so you can go and take a look through all of the different sculptures which should be made. Obviously that's not really something we're too interested in, so we're going to give that a miss. But they've also got picnic benches and things like that within the sculpture park and just up there at the back. So if you are looking to go for like a little bit of a picnic with the amazing views, then I definitely recommend coming up here. I was literally just saying to Beth a second ago, it would have been really cool if all the vintage cars came up to the top. And take a look at this. They've all literally just driven up to the top of the hill, probably to get some really cool photos of the cars. But look at that. And now it is time to take a look around Tanunda. So if you remember from yesterday, this is the street where all the cars were lined up and it was super, super busy. And thankfully today, the show is not on right now. I think it's probably been put on a bit later on. That's why the cars were up at the top of the hill, just chilling out for a bit until the show a bit later on. But you do see a lot of them driving around here still, as one is going past right now. Look. Oh, he's going off over there. But it is really cool. This whole weekend we've just been seeing all these old vintage cars driving around a town which feels like you've gone back in time. So I have really enjoyed the event. I think all these ones are actually coming from the top of the hill, because I'm recognising a couple of these that are driving past right now. But we're just going to take a look through some of the shops, show you what Tanunda has on offer, because obviously when you come it might not be the same time as when the vintage car show is on. So we've made it to the far end of the high street, quite close to Mike's where we went for food yesterday. So go and check that one out if you want to see how good the food was from there. But down the high street there's loads. There's some nice small boutique shops. They've got cafes, they've got bars, restaurants, they've got a couple of breweries. They've also got a sweet shop which was really nice. They had loads of different sweets in there and fudge which looked really good too. And then there was Barossa Donut. So if you like a donut or like a New York style cookie, definitely recommend going in there because they looked amazing, but we've already got cake and stuff, so we're not going to buy any of that today. But let me show you this brewery in front of us here. Just look at how cool and vintage it looks. So I definitely recommend going for a drink in there if you have time. We were going to go do it yesterday, but because it was so busy and we had such a busy day, we didn't have time, unfortunately. But now we're going to head over to the opposite side, walk along there back to the car and see whether we can find a cafe where we can get a drink and maybe a snack for our journey home. Next to the brewery, there was this really small and cute cafe called Nosh. So we went inside and got ourselves a smoothie each. So it came to $9 per smoothie, so $18 in total. And I definitely recommend going in there if you've got time. Just sit down, enjoy some food. They've got amazing cakes, pies, pastries, cookies we saw too, and some really nice drinks like the smoothies. So definitely recommend going in there. So that is going to be it for our time here in the beautiful Barossa, and just look at how amazing it is from the views which you get in behind me. And if you haven't already, I highly recommend going back and checking out the other two vlogs too, because they were amazing. And if you've got this far too, you must have enjoyed the vlog, so make sure to hit that subscribe button. But as I said, I'll tell you all about the prices and how much we spent whilst we were here. So the last thing which we had to do was obviously top up the car with fuel, so that's how much this cost. And then the overall cost for the whole weekend, so there's a daily cost after each day, but the overall total cost is this. So in terms of price, you can make it even more expensive if you want to do more wineries, doing the fine wines, doing the feed me menus at the restaurants, going to fancy restaurants and stuff. You can make it more expensive, but you can also make it a little bit cheaper too by staying in a hotel that's not quite as fancy as the Mercure. But in terms of the wine, definitely recommend cycling around rather than driving or getting a tour bus, because that's probably the cheapest option of them all. And if you did enjoy the wine tour yesterday, you should definitely go and check out the one from the Adelaide Hills, which is another one of the wine regions here in South Australia. And in a couple of weeks, we've actually got Clare Valley coming up, so make sure you subscribed for that too. But if you did enjoy this series, do make sure to smash that like button, and I'll see you all next week with yet another vlog.